Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is good to be with one another on this Advent Sunday. Just because we're Unitarians and we do stuff like this, we're going to roll all of Advent into one quick service because the world is so large. We might as well taste other things through the holiday season. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. It is so good to be together. And there are a lot of us together. Last I saw, and that was some time ago, there were something like, I don't know, we're probably up to about 85 people now and climbing up to 91. Okay, 90, 86 people and climbing, I think is what, no, I don't know what she's saying. Okay, I'm trying to read finger signs from Charlene. We're over 100. There. Um, it is so good to have you all here, all over 100 of you together, because we make a warm worship space together. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Joan Montagnes, and I have the honor and privilege of serving all of you as minister. It is lovely to see you. We are in a webinar, a Zoom webinar worship experience. And what that means is you can't hear or see each other, and we can't hear or see you, but you can hear and see our worship associate, Charlene Montgomery, and our special guest star, Luann Firestone. And you can hear and see me, obviously. You can also chat with one another all the way through the service. So enjoy each other's company. That's part of the whole Zoomosphere experience. I want to thank from the deepest place in my heart, Josh Disick, John Petroselli, who is our technician today, Justin DeClean, Karen Streech, Bobby Withrow, Paul Zanoli, and all our music staff who help create our worship experiences every single week. You folks are amazing. I also want to thank all of you who have made a pledge of financial commitment in this to the 2021 church year. So the next fiscal year. I want to thank you because we have collected $340,000 in pledges. Let's get that last 60,000 in. That's not that much. We can do it. I know we can do it. Let's get that last $60,000 in before the end of December so we can continue to provide you with the programming you expect and maintain our beloved church building in tip top condition for the day when we get to return there and meet in person. If you haven't made a pledge yet, we'd love to receive it soon. It's easy to pledge. All you have to do is write a nice little email to stewardship at buffalouu.org. That's stewardship at buffalouu.org. And if you have any questions, you can just email me. We got some things going on this holiday season. We got the mitten tree. Mitten tree, woohoo! We are collecting new mittens, gloves, scarves, and hats, and even a coat if you've got one, all new, mint condition. And we are festooning a tree with it. The party has already started this Saturday. There are more times when you can drop off all your mitts and hats and scarves and gloves and coats onto the tree and festoon the tree. Various times are listed in the chat, in the newsletter, in the e-blast, and if you're an RE family, probably in your missives there too. We are also playing Santa for the 11 sweet kids staying at Family Promise Transitional Housing. And you are going to hear way more about that from Luann. Yay. But what we want to do for these kids is to provide them with stockings and stocking stuffers. We have 5 stockings already, but we could use 6. No, we have 6 stockings already, and we could use 5 more stockings. I know there are knitters and sewers out there who are just itching to make some lovely stockings. The children range from newborn to 12 years old. And if I were going to come up with some nice things that Santa might leave in a stocking, I might say crayons, markers, craft kits, small stuffed animals, matchbox cars, Lego mini figurines, and teething rings. Again, everything new in mint condition because these kids deserve the best. If you'd rather make a monetary donation, we can always do the shopping. And you can drop off your stockings and stocking stuffers during the mitten tree drop off times. Where can you tell those? Yes, in the newsletter, in the e-blast, in the chat, and also in the RE missives. Now, holidays times can be a bit difficult for a lot of people. It can be not a very joyous time in this year in particular. So this year, as every year, we are going to hold a Blue Christmas service. This time it's going to be on Wednesday, this Wednesday coming up at 7 p.m. You might be separated from your loved ones. You might be grieving your loved ones. This is a hard time. So the Blue Christmas service is a safe and quiet time to be together and share the stories of our lives. We give each other permission just to be blue. So all of you are welcome to that. Check out the newsletter and the e-blast for the Zoom address, and probably the chat will have that as well. So that's Wednesday at 7 p.m. After this service and after every service at 11:35, we shut down this meeting, which is a Zoom webinar, and where you can't hear or see each other, and we switch on to a different Zoom meeting, which is a proper meeting where you can hear and see each other, because that's what fellowship is all about. Building community. Come to the Zoom fellowship time. And the address for that is, guess where? Newsletter, e-blast, and chat. And then finally, congregational meeting right at noon today. Please come. If you are a voting member, please come to our congregational meeting. We're going to be discussing some changes to the bylaws, so you want to be involved in decisions that affect you. And where do you think that you'd find that Zoom address? Yes, in your newsletter, in your chat, and in your e-blast. It's all there. And I think you got a postcard too. So that is enough business. Oof. Let's take a deep breath. Let it go. I need that. And come, let us worship.
When our days turn cold and nights grow long, may we take comfort in the warmth of this, the hearth of our caring community. When oppression and indignity rise, may we kindle the flame of justice together. When exhaustion seeps into our bones, may we leave a candle in the window to lead us to rest. And when joy sneaks in, glittering with grace, may we stop for just one sacred moment and celebrate. Come, let us worship.
When I worship, I like to light a candle or a chalice, whatever is easiest for you. You might have one at home to join me in doing this in this time when the days are getting shorter. So I invite you to join me in our chalice lighting affirmation. We gather in loving community, inspiring one another to transform ourselves to create a more just and compassionate world. Let's join in singing Shalom Haverim.
Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom. Leitrayot, Leitrayot, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim. Shalom, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom,
Once upon a time, there was a queen who ruled a land that was lush and green and beautiful. Her castle sat on a hill, and the hill rolled down into a valley, and through the valley was a river of sparkling water that was clean and pure. On the other side of the river was another land that was lush and green and beautiful. This land sloped up from the river to a hill, and on top of the hill there was another castle. And in that castle lived a sultana. A sultana is another kind of queen. Well, one day a royal advisor said to the first queen, said, "Your Majesty, the people on this side of the river are good, but we must beware of the people on the other side of the river. They are our enemies, and we must get rid of our enemies." "Our enemies?" responded the queen. "How terrible!" "Yes, it's terrible," said the royal advisor, "for our land will never be safe with our enemies next to them. We must find a way of getting rid of them." "Oh, quite right," said the queen. "Do you have any ideas?" "I do indeed," said the royal advisor. "We can take our army, put it on a ship, sail to the other side of the river, and then our army will march ashore and destroy the enemy." "Ooh, thank you for sharing your ideas," said the queen. "But I need some time to think about it all. Can you come back tomorrow?" "Yes, Your Majesty." And he bowed and left the room. The next day, when the royal advisor returned to talk about war strategies with the queen, he was shocked to find the queen sipping tea with the sultana from across the river. The royal advisor turned red with anger. "Your Majesty, how can you sit there with that person and drink tea? She is our enemy. We must get rid of our enemies." The queen looked at him with eyes that were calm and steady. "You have been a good advisor," she said, "and you are right, in part. We must get rid of our enemies. That much is true. But you would have me destroy our enemies by going to war. Messy, nasty business. Truly, the best way to get rid of our enemies is to make them our friends. Have a seat. Would you like a cup of tea?"
Every week, we take a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and give it away to a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we are supporting the good work of Family Promise of Western New York. And here's Family Promise's Executive Director, Luann Firestone, to tell you all about it.
Hi, you Buffalo congregation. Thanks so much, first of all, for allowing me to join you today and for your continued support throughout the years, including all those awesome stockings you are going to make for our kids. Really quickly, if you don't know what Family Promise is, we are an emergency shelter for families experiencing homelessness in our community. We're unique in this community because we're two shelters that can take families that include teenage sons and dads and keep together with their families. Think about big shelters like City Mission, it's a men's shelter, and a women and children's shelter. But at that women and children's shelter, when your son gets to be 12 years old or older, he can't stay with you anymore. Or if there's a dad involved, a two-parent family or a single dad, he can't stay. So we in the Salvation Army are the only shelters that can keep families together. Of course, right, there's a critical need for shelter in our community. I'm sure you know that COVID has destabilized people, but especially high-risk people who have lost their jobs and are willing to pay rent. And we are predicting just waves and waves of evictions following the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we're really excited to be open. We finished a big renovation this summer, and we are currently have 6 families staying with us. We were 70% children. So when you're supporting us, you are supporting mainly children and their parents who are going through an episodic homeless event. It could be anything from a fire to eviction to a job loss to a medical emergency that got them in that situation. Our job is to help them find housing and meet any other stability goals they have, like food or mental health or physical health or legal advice or whatever they need. Your job is to wrap the families in hope. That's what we really want to do. That's our mission statement, is that our community wraps our home children and families in hope. And your support, from the stockings to your continued support, so many ways, shows our families not just that they can get out of homelessness, that they're worth it, and that you believe in them and that this community cares about them. And so we have an 85% success rate. We're so grateful. We can't do what we do without support like yours. So thank you so much for all your support. God bless you. Happy Advent holiday season.
You can use PayPal by going to our website, www.buffalouu.org, and clicking on the blue Donate button. Or you can send a check by mail to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo, 695 Elmwood Ave, Buffalo, New York, 14222. You can also arrange a regular automatic deposit with your bank. If yours is a gift to our Share the Plate ministry, please write "Share" on the memo line, and it will be shared between Family Promise and the church operating budget. If yours is a welcome gift to our congregation, please write "Pledge 2020" on the memo line. Either way, please write UUCB on the important line, and we will do the bookkeeping. By sharing blessings, we bring peace to the world.
וכיתתו חרבותם לעתים וחניתותיהם למזמרות. וכיתתו חרבותם לעתים וחניתותיהם למזמרות. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא ישיתו, לא יראו לבוא להשיתו, ולא ישיתו. לא יראו ולא ישיתו, ולא ישחיתו. לא יראו ולא ישחיתו, ולא ישחיתו. לא יראו לבוא להשיתו, ולא ישיתו. לא יראו ולא ישיתו, ולא ישיתו. ולא ישיתו. ולא ישיתו, וכיתתו, וכיתתו, וחניתותיהם למזמרות. וכיתתו, וכיתתו, וחניתותיהם למזמרות, למזמרות.
We Are Waiting by Leslie Takahashi. This is the season of anticipation, of waiting, of hoping, of wanting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of something or someone. This is the time of living in darkness, in the hues of unknowing, of being quiet, of reflecting on a year almost past, waiting for a new beginning, for a closing or an end. This is the time for digesting the lessons of days gone past and anticipating the future, waiting for a world which can know justice, waiting for a lasting peace, waiting for the bridge to span the divides which separate us, waiting for a promise or a hope. For all of this, we are waiting.
We light the first candle of Advent for hope. This is the season of anticipation and wanting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of someone or something. Hope is how we feel when we're not yet fully realized and still have enough within to yearn for more, enough within to believe we can be more, enough within to reach for more. Hope is about not yet giving in or giving up. It's about realizing the glass is not half full or half empty. The glass is refillable, right? I mean, the vaccine is coming. It might not be coming as soon as we want it to come, but it's coming. It's a hope is about realizing the glass is not half full or half empty. The glass is refillable. The fountain is eternal. Hope is about knowing we can always, even when we just think it's impossible, when we've lost sight of it, we can always find the fountain again, even if we've lost sight of it. We can always search and it will be there. We can find the fountain and drink our fill. We can always reach for more joy, more justice, more love. We can always reach for more because more truly exists. This is the lesson of hope.
A Blessing for Traveling in the Dark by Jan Richardson. Go slow, if you can. Slower, more slowly still. Friendly, dark, or fearsome, this is no place to break your neck by rushing, by running, by crashing into what you cannot see. Then again, it is true, different darks have different tasks. And if you have arrived here unawares, if you have come in peril or in pain, this might be no place you should dawdle. I do not know what these shadows ask of you, what they might hold that means you good or ill. It is not for me to reckon whether you should linger or you should leave. But this is what I can ask of for you, that in the darkness there be a blessing, that in the shadows there be a welcome, that in the night you be encompassed by the love that knows your name.
We light the second candle of Advent for love. In these exquisitely strange days, when all demands upon us are different from what they were in the before times, And the days are shortening, so dusk and dawn nearly meet in a season of gloaming unknowing. You may stumble in the dark. No matter how slowly you move, hands reaching out, groping in the space before you, the coffee table in the living room of your soul is not necessarily where you thought it was. Toes get stubbed, shins bruised, hearts broken. So, this is what I hope for you in this season of expectation. I hope you find in the darkness a blessing, that in the shadows you offer a welcome, that in the night you are embraced by shared dreams of comfort. And in these dim days, you find you can slowly, slowly slow down enough to meet the guest who has always lived at your threshold, the love that knows your name.
Let It Be About Joy by Nita Penfold. No matter what they tell you, let it be about joy. Let it be about the sacred, self-surviving, no, thriving, shining its way to the knowledge within. Let it be about blooming, the unfolding of the universe through you, because the story of you begins 15 billion years ago with that first flash of being.
We light the third candle of Advent for joy. What will they tell you? Whatever they want. Turn on the radio, the TV, any station. Open the paper, any publication or book. They can and will tell you whatever they want. Some things they tell us even line up with critical thinking and something approaching objective reality. We have learned that this year. We have learned to pick our truths. We light the third candle of this season of anticipation, of expecting, of hoping, of wanting for joy. Because there is a charge of change in the air, and we'd better remember to take some joy along with the ride, or it will be tears all the way. Change is coming. We know that too. America is beginning and continuing to fail to come to terms with its culture of white supremacy. In a little bit more than a month, the whole government is turning over from soup to nuts. The Earth's climate is rapidly losing its balance. The pandemic has turned everything we once knew topsy turvy. Our kids are growing up in ways we never imagined. We are growing older into a world we never imagined. Our loved ones are dying long before we ever imagined. Change is coming, and if we let it will be angry, scary, and sad, demanding of us strength and courage and not much else. So, in these charged and changing times, we light a candle for joy. When joy sneaks in, glittering with grace, for the sake of our weary spirits, stop for just one sacred moment and celebrate. We light 8 candles to remind us of miracles, 7 candles for culture and family. We put lights on our houses and evergreens just to watch them twinkle. We put lamps outside our homes and light firecrackers to celebrate the triumph of good over evil. We ignite warm bonfires to welcome back the sun and summer's eventual bounty. So, with this candle, no matter what they tell you, choose joy. Let the story be about the sacred. Let it be about the gorgeous, delightful, sparkling unfolding of the universe through you. Because the most miraculous birth story ever belongs to you. The story that began 15 billion years ago with that first flash of being.
Jerusalem by Naomi Shihab Nye. Once when my father was a boy, a stone hit him on the head. Hair would never grow there. Our fingers found the tender spot and its riddles. The boy who has fallen stands up. A bucket of pears in his mother's doorway welcomes him home. The pears are not crying. Lately, his friend who threw the stone says he was aiming at a bird, and my father starts growing wings.
We light the fourth candle of Advent for peace. Let's join our hearts and minds in a quiet moment of prayer, reflection, and meditation. Let us, in this wintry time of waiting, in this season of stillness, let us reach for peace, a peace that is more than the absence of tension, a peace that is also learning the hard lessons of letting go, searching the tender riddles of common ground, breathing through pain into feathered tranquility. forging relationship out of enmity. Let us seek serenity, reach for peace, much more than an absence of war. When anger says no, may we observe the promised truce. When ego says my way, may we seek understanding. When the heart says revenge, may we strive for healing. May we reach for compassion for all the earth. May we learn peace. Today, we especially hold in our hearts Lynn Mancuso and her mother Elizabeth Wolfe, both members of our congregation. While Lynn's mother appears to be recovering from COVID-19, Lynn's father, Robert, passed away on Thursday night from the disease. He had just celebrated his 98th birthday. And now, let us enter a time of silence together and open our worship space to the names of all our loved ones suffering in sorrow and celebrating in joy. Each name a breath, each breath a prayer. The breath of nature is upon us. The spirit of life is within us. The community of love is among us. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen. Let's join in singing Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah.
Please join us now in the words of extinguishing our chalice. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
Never forget that you are a child of the universe, a child of life. And where there's life, there is hope, love, joy, and peace, waiting to be born again and again and again. So, in this season, ripe with endings and beginnings, expect at any moment the angel chorus to announce your heart's rebirth. Remember, you are blessed. Remember, you are a blessing. And above all else, remember, you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen.